I would like to welcome Lil Fi to our conversation here this evening. And she is a wonderful music educator with a beautiful story to tell. So, Fi, would you mind just briefly introducing yourselves and telling us how you came to work with music and singing in family daycare?
Absolutely, I'd love to. I'm a lifetime musician. I've been playing music professionally for over 30 years. So, fast forward, I end up working with early years because I was going to start working with early years. So I ended up volunteering at Mount Warning Preschool where I was living, and I got mentored by one of the most amazing people, Pauline Hercombe, who got me interested in singing with children. And it has snowballed ever since. Ran into Maggie Dent. She said, "Come on tour with me and tell people your story." And I ended up touring around with Maggie and Sandy Phoenix and Dr. Louise
Wow,
Porter
that,
and all
that
these
sounds
wonderful
like you've
people.
got such a story, such a beautiful journey to get where you are now. And that is, of
Yeah,
course, working with family daycare educators, talking about, well, not just talking about, but sharing information and the experience of singing and music. So
that's
I
it.
wonder,
And that's where my heart is now.
that's
I
beautiful.
love family daycare. Yeah,
Lovely. Well, that's
it's
well,
great.
you're in the right place then, because that's who we're
That's
talking
it.
to this evening. So I guess, Fee, I would ask you, kind of in your experience there with the kind of work you're doing with early years learning, um, why do you believe that singing is such an important part of working with that age group?
Well, I have experiential understanding. It's not just a certificate, as I said. I would say it's not just important, it's vital
Mm,
because children don't have their neural pathways till they're about 7. And
mm,
if they have special needs, they may never have those pathways.
mm,
So, music is amazing for your brain. It goes like you've got your left and your right brain, but music goes across the corpus callosum into the whole brain. So, the importance actually of music is that it should be the first port of call.
mm,
We shouldn't be just speaking with children. Speaking happens in this part of your brain here,
mm,
but music goes into the brain, goes all over the brain. It's like fireworks in your
mm,
brain. There's a great video online by um, Anita Collins, and I'll get you to put a link in there to it maybe for the importance of, it says Anita Collins, the brain and music. And
mm,
it's a 4-minute video, fantastic, just explains how the fireworks get turned on when we use music with children.
yeah.
Um, and then if you apply that to your daily practice, wow, we're going to really see results, and that's what I've experienced
I
amazing
mean,
results.
would you say the benefits of singing and the effects of singing for children in the early years is significantly different from other age groups or other stages of life?
um well, actually, you can apply music to um all ages, but particularly with early years because they don't have their neural pathways yet.
Mm,
So I'll give you a couple of examples.
mm,
I was out at Chinchilla. There was a lady there. I was doing a series of seminars, and she said, "Oh," I said, "What's the problem?" She goes, "Shoes, Mummy." I said, "Oh,
mm,
that's easy. It's time to put your shoes on. Time to put your shoes on. Time to put your shoes on. We're going out." So
mm.
using and then as I was explaining that, suddenly this child gets up and starts putting on their shoes, and I said, "Oh, whose child's that?" And she goes, "Oh, that's mine."
I love it.
And so it's instant. It was an instant moment of being able to explain. You use a low tone, you
Mm,
use a gentle voice, you explain it 3 times
mm,
and not much of why.
mm,
You just tell them what to do 3 times, then
mm,
you say why, but
mm,
not much.
mm,
Because they
mm,
don't need too much
mm,
information,
mm,
you
mm,
know.
mm,
My son's problem was going to the shower all his life. Couldn't get him into the shower. He was bookish, so he's always reading. And
yeah,
to get into that golden bubble, you need to be careful how you burst into that golden bubble,
mm,
especially with children on iPads
mm,
and you know, that's a really dangerous thing. If you burst into a child's bubble when they're completely engaged, all their senses are engaged on those phones, on those tablets.
mm,
So you burst into that bubble gently with music.
mm,
Music, as I said, goes across the corpus callosum into the whole brain. Then they're going to come out of that bubble in a gentle way.
you
It
know,
works.
resonates with me, really speaking my language, and it's sort of echoing what we've been, you know, discussing here this evening. Um,
Mm.
Tell me, what would you say to some of the family daycare educators, or to anyone perhaps who feels not confident, who feels they, you know, can't sing, or they're just not confident using their voice? What would be your
Okay.
thoughts there?
My example is an educator who I worked with called Shana. I loved Shana. She was the most tone deaf and out of time person I've ever known in my life. And everyone can sing, even the bullfrog. God made the bullfrog, But she got a hold of this and she realized, oh, it's not actually that I'm in time, in tone, in pitch. It's not that. It's that my intention. And so I showed her how to sing by giving her a whole heap of songs. I've got loads of them online for free that people can download. Um, and and I showed her how to sing intentionally during her practice, um, transitioning, moving children from one section to the other. Nappy changes. You can sing everything. Um, and by doing that, now she's one of the best educators I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, she sings in time, in tune, in pitch. She's amazing. But
Practice.
because she gave herself permission. And I think that's your biggest thing. Give yourself permission. You see all the older educators that are wise women, our old wise women that have been educating 40 years, and they've had their own families. They don't care. They will sit down with the kids, sing out of time, sing with all their hearts, and the kids love it. And you think, how? Why do they love that? And come back to the science. It's the music going across the corpus callosum into the whole brain. But you bring your joy. And every time you bring your joy to the situation, you diffuse any of the negative behaviors. I mean, I've got great songs about toilet training and hands. What are your hands for? Are they for hitting or hurting? All those kind of songs. Teeth are for smiling.
So tell me, Fee,
Never
like,
for biting.
would you mind sharing with us perhaps one of your favourite songs that you know is really valuable, useful, and a real go-to in the family daycare setting?
Oh, absolutely
I'm
love
sure
to.
you could share 50, but see if we can just do your one most favourite.
Hands up for clapping, hands up for patting, hands up for waving high, but never for hitting. Never. Hands up for holding, hands up for folding, and hands up for hugging, but never for hurting. Never, ever. Look at all the good things I can do with my hands. Well, I can clap, and I can wave, and I can pat, and I can brush my teeth and feed myself. Hands are for clapping, hands are for patting, hands are for waving, but never for hitting. Never, ever. And you can apply that same song to teeth are for smiling, but never
Yes,
for biting,
yes, yes,
So
yes,
rewrite songs, get
yes,
an old melody and rewrite it for
yes,
the
yes,
issue
yes,
that you
yes.
need.
Yes, this is something we've been talking about, you know, the idea of being creative, because it's also really important that you're role modeling, isn't it? Like, rather than
Yes,
saying, oh no, I can't
absolutely.
sing and I don't know the words, that's
Mm,
not really positive messaging,
no.
you know.
No, make it up as you go along. Give yourself permission, like reinvent.
Mm,
Reinvent Farmer in the Dell's a great one to rewrite. Reinvent any of those old tunes. You've already got those tunes in you.
mm,
Think about the issue, write the song simply,
mm,
and then deliver it regularly because it's
mm,
all about repetition and
mm,
consistency. You
mm,
need to, like, I've got songs for runners, like Stop, I Don't Like It is a bullying song.
mm,
And and you give the children words to say through the song.
mm,
And whenever I've introduced those songs, But if they don't have the melody, they've at least got the sign language.
mm,
So you can
mm,
use that as well.
mm,
They
mm,
can use that.
mm,
So it's about empowering the children and
mm,
helping them to have the words that they need. When I wrote that song, Stop, I Don't Like It,
mm.
I wrote that for the victims of the bullies that
Yes.
ended up but the bully ended up using it
Oh,
because
yeah.
he would go to the red zone immediately
Yes.
and he didn't have the words so that
Mm,
he didn't go to the red zone. Now with Stop, I Don't Like It, he actually had the words to say, that's triggering me, I need
mm.
you to stop, please.
Ah,
So
that's
yeah,
that's a
that was a really interesting journey, that one.
yes. So many
Mm,
ways that songs can be helpful to children and educators that perhaps we don't even think about, right? As you said, it can take a bit of a
absolutely.
journey, a journey of its
Mm,
own, different songs and music
yep.
in people's lives and people's experiences.
Yeah, I've used songs, emergency songs.
Mm.
So I had a little fellow, and he was. Have we got time? Can I tell
Yes, yes,
quick
just put
quick
yeah, go
story?
on. Yeah.
All right. Well, he was special needs, and he would go to the red zone very very quickly.
Mm,
Um, I never had a problem with him. He was always great for me. I'm doing out of school hours. I was a supervisor in UKI at the out of school hours service, and he came in and he had a pair of scissors in his hand, and the father of
mm,
two other children came in, and he's looking at this little boy with the scissors, thinking, "Oh, is he going to stab me? Or where are my kids?" He was quite frightened because
yeah.
they didn't know what to do because he was
Mm,
volatile.
mm,
And I just said, "Jimmy, Jimmy, bring me the scissors, please.
mm,
Come over here and bring me the scissors, please." And he just turned on a dime and came and gave me the scissors.
mm,
And
mm,
then went back and looked at Mr. Jones and thought, wow, isn't he big?
mm,
So what happened was I diffused that whole situation
mm,
by singing intentionally into that.
mm, mm,
And no one got to get upset. Whereas if I had used words, if I had
yes.
said, Jimmy, bring me those scissors, he
Mm,
would have gone, ha ha, power,
mm,
stab.
yeah. Yeah.
And then we would have had dramas.
Mm,
But because I sang intentionally into this child,
mm,
this is the solution, honestly.
mm,
And I've walked into a nursery with 15 babies.
mm,
Everyone's triggering each other and they're all crying.
yeah.
And I'd use my ukulele.
Mm,
A frog went walking on a summer's day, a hum,
mm,
and just start singing.
yeah.
And suddenly everyone would go quiet,
Mm,
take a breath, and calm down.
mm, mm,
You do yourself
mm,
as
mm,
well as
mm,
the educator, and
mm,
it brings peace into your home.
mm, mm,
Music really does bring peace into your home.
mm,
I would like to say, um, make the music yourself.
mm,
Make your own music. Don't just rely on your iPad to do the music, on your Spotify, all
mm,
that sort of stuff.
mm,
There is a space for silence. There is a space for quietness,
mm,
and and then when they're in those silent moments, and they go into their golden bubble where they're learning, they're looking at a whatever it is, and they're learning,
mm,
and suddenly they'll start singing
mm,
and they start humming. And
mm,
so you need to have silence for
mm.
them to
That is
have
making
those lucid
space, isn't
moments
it? Mm,
of that's right. It's called
making
making
space.
space.
Mm, mm,
And a big thing we've been working on lately is slowing down, slow pedagogy.
mm,
Let's all slow down.
mm,
Let's
yeah,
make space. Let's
mm,
make silence
yeah.
a part of what we
Mm,
do
mm. I think
and a gentleness there,
like music and song is only music and song because it's a contrast to the quiet parts, isn't it? We need both. Where if you
Exactly.
just have it going all the time, it just becomes noise.
Yes, that's right. And you actually don't do intentional listening.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is important for children to be able to listen
Mm,
to what's going on inside their own heads as much
absolutely.
as what's
And
going on,
adults as well.
you know. That's right. That's right. And to be able to listen to their carers and know, which way to go, which direction to take. And
Mm,
yeah, but I heartily recommend people to give themselves permission to sing
mm,
and and give the space to kids or children, I should say, give
mm,
the space to the children um, to make music, to make their own music. Have quality instruments too. I mean, I have one of my favourite instruments is a stick,
mm,
claves. but I just got this one out of the bush. That doesn't have to be fantastic, but it's a low tone. So keep your tones low. I just want to quickly go over that. Make sure you don't have any bells, no tambourines, no high notes, no triangles, nothing high notes like that.
Okay.
And use
Fiona,
low tone shakers.
Yeah, Fee, look, I know we could just talk all evening.
I know.
You are such a fascinating character. I think we're slightly running out of time, but I'm sure this won't be the last that the New South Wales Family Daycare hears from you, because I love everything you're saying, and I think it's so relevant to what we're talking about tonight and so helpful for the educators listening. So I'm going to say a big thank you to you for coming on and sharing all your wisdom and your experience and your beautiful energy. And
absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Fee.